Welcome to MUN 101, the first mock session. My name is Melody Kang and I'll be your chair in World Food Program. During this time, we will briefly go over the rules of procedure of Model United Nations with a very simple agenda. But before introducing our agenda, we will now be conducting a roll call. The chair will call out each delegation in alphabetical order. And when the chair calls out your delegation, please raise your placards up high and say present. Since there are no international organizations in MUN 101, chair will only recognize present, so please do not say present at voting. Delegate of BBQ, present. Delegate of BHC, present. Delegate of DD, present. Delegate of NEC, delegate of KFC, present. Delegate of Gambo, present. Delegate of Kuchon, present. Delegate of Dene, present. Delegate of Pabak, present. And delegate of Zalpona. With 10 delegates present, we have now met the quorum. Welcome to MUN 101, the first mock session. My name is Melody Kang and I'll be your chair in World Food Program. During this time, we will briefly go over the procedure of Model United Nations with a very simple agenda. But before introducing our agenda, we will be conducting a roll call. The chair will call out delegates in alphabetical order. When the chair calls out your delegation, please raise your placards up high and say present. Since there are no international organizations in MUN 101, the chair will only recognize present. Now, my vice chair will take the roll. Delegate of BBQ, present. Delegate of BHC, present. Delegate of DD, present. Delegate of Gume, present. Delegate of KFC, present. Delegate of Gambo, present. Delegate of Gyeongchon, present. Delegate of Nene, present. Delegate of Opama, present. And delegate of Sarkuba, present. With 10 delegates present, we have now met the quorum. We will now move into opening speeches. Each delegates are given 60 seconds to speak on the podium. Opening speeches should contain each nation's stances regarding the agenda or anything pertaining to the topic. It is okay not to use all 60 seconds you have on the podium, but yielding will not be in order this time. Delegate of BBQ, please approach the podium. We have 60 seconds to speak.
Honorable chairs and fellow delegates, this is the delegate of BBQ. The delegate of BBQ acknowledges that in the Korean market there are countless chicken brands, and the number of chicken brands has been rapidly increasing ever since the emergence of very first chicken brand. As one of the domestic chicken brands, BBQ has been putting a most effort to survive in this overflowing domestic chicken market, and thus BBQ has been developing various menus to attract more consumers, such as olive manta hot chicken and golden olive chicken. In order to advertise this, BBQ has been using celebrities such as EXO. But however, due to the fact that there are too many brands and chickens in Korea, the delegation sees a need for controlling this so that people who are actually consuming the chickens can choose one of them. And this delegation is looking forward to a very fruitful debate. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Please return to your seat. Since MUN 101 has only one agenda per committee, there will be no agenda setting procedure. We will now start the formal session and open up the speakers list. General speakers list is an opportunity for delegates to freely share their opinions and concerns regarding the agenda as a whole or other delegate speeches. Each delegate will be given 90 seconds to speak on the podium, and it is okay not to use all 90 seconds you have. And there are 3 different ways you can yield your remaining time. First, you can yield your remaining time back to the chair, and the chair will proceed with the next procedure. Next, you can yield your remaining time to a point of information if there is more than 10 seconds left. Follow-ups are granted under chair's discretion, but consecutive follow-ups are not allowed in MUN 101 the first. Last but not least, you can yield your remaining time to another delegate if there is more than 30 seconds left. The delegate may yield the floor to another delegate without any mutual consensus beforehand. However, consecutive yielding is not allowed, which means that the floor can be yielded only once. Okay, any delegates wishing to be placed on the speakers list, please raise your placards up high. Delegate of Upabak, Sartongbak, KFC, delegate please raise your placards by facing the chair. Thank you. DD, BHC, BBQ in that order. Delegate of Upabak, please approach the podium. We have 90 seconds to speak. Greetings all, greetings honorable chairs and full delegates. We have gathered here today to nominate the best chicken brand in this country. However, this delegate of Upadak strongly believes that this debate is unnecessary and not a waste of time. Delegate of Upadak, please approach the podium. We have 90 seconds to speak.
Greetings, honorable chairs and fellow delegates. We have gathered here today to discuss and nominate the best chicken brands in South Korea. However, this delegate believes that this is a waste of time, if not unnecessary. BBQ, KFC, Gyeongbu-gyojeon, they've had it enough. Those chicken mega corporations are blocking the future of chicken industry in South Korea by not giving them the chance to rise for other small and medium chicken enterprises. Therefore, this delegate of Upadak highly encourages other delegates, especially small and medium chicken brands, to rise up and fight against those chicken mega corporations. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. You have 55 seconds remaining. How would you like to yield your remaining time?
Back to chair.
That is in order. Next, delegate of South Korea, please approach the podium. You have 90 seconds to speak.
This is the delegate of Sartungda, and it is safe to say that with the face of Colonel Sanders himself, KFC, and the chicken of Cheonjeon, BHC in the conference, that this delegation can say that these powerhouses have caused and amplified the problem we have at hand. They have not given the underdogs of the chicken industry a chance to grow. The very reason that citizens of Korea have coined the term Koreajoseon to describe their own country is because getting into college is difficult, getting a job is difficult, and getting into the chicken industry is difficult. There needs to be solutions for the newcomers of the chicken industry in order for the citizens to eat many different chicken and establish a balance in the current dictatorship that is the chicken market. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. You have 40 seconds remaining. How would you like to yield?
Back to the chair.
That is in order. The speakers list has been now elapsed. Before we reopen the speakers list, are there any points or motions?
Motion.
Yes, delegate of Kuchon.
Motion for moderated caucus. Total duration for 15 minutes. Delivery speaking time for 60 seconds. Plus for listening up the debate.
Are there further points or motions?
Point of parliamentary.
Yes, delegate.
This delegation believes that in order to raise a point of motion, this delegation believes that delegation must stand up from the current or sit, and this delegation sees that a lot of good evidence. So this delegation would like to ask for the lecture for the explanation of our meeting.
Okay, it is actually up to the chair's discretion. So delegate, if the chair asks the delegate to stand up and speak for the motion or points, the delegate has to do so. But however, the chair didn't say that, so the delegate's return is complete. Are there further points or motions in the House? Seeing none, we will directly move into the voting procedure on this motion. This motion is a procedure vote which requires simple majority vote to pass, and abstentions are not allowed. All delegates in favor of this motion, please raise your placards high. Session 1. Session 2. All those against? 2. Okay, delegates, you may now lower your placards. Since there are no abstentions for this motion, we will now have a revote since the number doesn't match. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your placards up high. Session 1.
3,
Session 2.
3,
Please lower your placard. All those against? Are there further points or motions? Seeing none, we'll directly move on to voting procedure on this motion. This motion requires simple majority vote to pass. Since it is a procedure vote, delegates are not allowed to abstain. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your placards up high. Session 1,
4.
Session 2, all those against? Session 1,
1.
Session 2. With 8 votes for and 2 votes against, this motion passes. We will now move into moderated caucus. During this caucus, delegates just have to rise from their seats to deliver speeches or opinions within a given time frame in speech time. At this point, are there any delegate wishing to speak? Delegate of PHC, you have been recognized.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, the delegate of Mubarak and Tundak has said that small and medium chicken brands must fight against the big brands because they cannot fight with the chicken industry. This delegate would like to question them why they're putting the blame on the big brands such as BHC, BBQ, KFC, and Crouton. Because the reason that we are dominating, or in their expressions, dictating the chicken market is because we've existed for a long time, and during this time we have done endless work in order to seize the interest of the customers and come up with menus that will satisfy those customers. According to them, it seems as if we're lobbying those kinds of customers, but in the reality, we have actually done a tremendous amount of work. So instead of putting the blame on us, the major companies, the delegate believes that those kinds of media companies should try to come up with plans of how they're going to come into the industry instead of just putting the blame on the other companies. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Are there any other delegate wishing to speak? Yes, delegate of BBQ.
The delegation of BBQ would like to echo the delegate of BHC by expressing her disappointment towards the statement of delegate of Santonga and delegate of Bala. The two delegations have stated in the general speakers that because big companies such as BBQ, BHC, or Kumne or KFC are dictating the current domestic chicken market economy, small companies such as Santonga and Bala cannot get profits from consumers and has actually condemned such big industries. However, this delegation would like to state that as the delegate of BHC has stated, it's because such big companies have been existed for a more long time, and that is why these big companies are more likely to get profits compared to the small companies, which such as the important two companies. And this delegation would like to also state that. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Are there any other delegate wishing to speak? Yes, delegate of Santonga.
Regarding the survey done by the World Chicken Association, 96% of the people that ate norantonga thought it was the best chicken in the world. But yet, nobody knows what norantonga is, and I feel like that is a bad thing. And it is the big corporations like BBC and BBQ that the small corporations are to die and be unknown. These big corporations may have sculpted the market, but also have closed it off, and small corporations cannot enter it with ease. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Are there any other delegate wishing to speak? Yes, delegate of BHC.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of Santonga has kindly introduced a survey about Norantonga. This delegate would like to say that it's not our fault that nobody knows Norantonga. I mean, they should have advertised their own company, but they didn't. So major companies like BHC or Gambo or Crouton doesn't have a fault. So this delegate would like to ask the delegate of Santonga why he has mentioned that kind of survey. And this delegate also believes that we have not closed the market, the chicken market. The consumers or the customers are the ones who are choosing what kind of chicken they want. It's not us. So we're not actually closing the chicken market so that medium or small brands cannot come in. We're actually trying our best because we have to survive in the market economy too.
Thank you, delegate. Please now raise your placards quiet before the chair asks you to do so. Are there any delegate wishing to speak? Yes, delegate of BBQ.
This delegation would like to strongly agree of what the delegate of BHC has previously mentioned, and I'd like to also state that, and that is why this delegate believes that there should be this conference to reach a consensus upon the overflowing market. And I'd like to emphasize the need of this conference to Delegate Popadak has stated in the general speakers is that this conference is unnecessary and just a waste of time. And this delegation would like to encourage all delegates to speak, and so that all chicken companies can reach a consensus upon this thing, instead of just blaming each other. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Are there any delegate wishing to speak? Yes, This delegate of Seotongbak.
To address the concern raised by BHC and BBQ, the big corporations are the reason that the small corporations are dying. In an interview with Norantongbak, when they had their small success, they tried to bring in Cheonjiang for their commercial, but Cheonjiang was busy filming commercials for who? That's right, BHC. So thus, this is proof that big corporations are taking small corporations' opportunities away, and they are not able to thrive in the Korean chicken market. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Due to time constraint, the chair will entertain one last speaker for this moderated caucus. Are there any in the House? This delegate of PHC.
Thank you, Chair. The delegate of Seotongbak has answered this delegate's questions in a previous speech, and the delegate has mentioned that Cheonjiang could not make the advertisements for Norantongbak because she had to film the advertisement for PHC. However, this delegate believes that it's not our fault because the reason that Cheonjiang took our advertisement is because we have the capacity that Norantongbak didn't have. We have the money, and Cheonjiang and her company chose us as the company that they would advertise for. So we have the chance and we seized it. So sorry for Norantongbak, but it's not our fault. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. The time for our moderated caucus is now elapsed. Before we go back to the general speakers list, are there any points or motions?
Motion.
Yes, delegate.
Motion to move into an unmoderated caucus for total duration of 30 minutes for the purpose of drafting resolution.
Are there further points or motions? Seeing none, we will be moving into the voting procedure on this motion. Again, this motion requires simple majority vote to pass, and since this is a procedure voting, delegates are not allowed to abstain. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your placard of aye. Session 1?
4.
Session 2? 4. All those against? Session 1?
1.
Session 2? 1. With 8 votes for, 2 votes against, this motion passes. We will now have unmoderated caucus until 3:50.
You little bitch! Seriously? My bitch, Julia! I know the devil stick stalagmites up your ass in hell. You know what kills the fishes in the ocean? Oil. You know what you take?
You should have your own chicken brand.
No, you stick your chicken in oil. You know what?
Don't eat it.
Oil kills the fish.
Why are you blaming chicken? Why? As you're why are you blaming chicken?
Chicken is an art form. It's a sensual art form.
It's the masterpiece of human body.
There's the pyramid, there's the Pentagon, and there's the US, and there's chicken. Those are the 4 greatest things in history. And you have ruined it. You have ruined it with oil. Alright, so this is the resolution. This is why. Right.
Supreme Court found the and KFC and other big industries here.
Now the chair duty has been elevated to this chair. The time for a moderated caucus is elapsed. Before conducting new speakers list, are there any further motions or points in this committee?
Motion.
Yes. Delegate of Seotongbak.
Motion to introduce the draft resolution.
That's in order. Are there any further motions or points in this committee? Seeing none. Delegate of Seotongbak, please come approach the podium and read out the appropriate clauses only.
Decides to limit the creation of further chicken corporations to stop the crowding of the Korean market. Calls for the creation for the Special Advisor of the Secretary General on Chicken and requests the Advisor of the Secretary General on Chicken and requests the Advisor to submit a report to the Secretary General and the Council every 6 months. endorses the Chicken Accord, a conference proposed by the head of member states to discuss about chickens at a highest level, requests the World Food Program and the World Health Organization to cooperate in coming up with a genetically engineered species of chicken specialized for being supplied to the Korean market and thus lowering the overall price of chicken in Korea. Requests Korea Chicken Association to hold new chicken menu competition biannually in order to choose the best national brand. Decides to remain actively seized to chicken.
Thank you, Delegate. At this point, the chair will entertain 3 points of clarification regarding this draft resolution. Point of clarification is asking questions regarding terminologies and words of this draft resolution. Are there any delegates wishing to ask points of clarification? Let's delegate on PBQ.
This delegation asks for the explanation of a genetically engineered species of chicken, which is mentioned in Operator Clause 4.
Well, Koreans love chicken that tastes like onion, and so we will genetically modify the chicken to taste like onion and incorporate onion DNA into the chicken DNA. And that is how we will optimize the chicken DNA for the Korean market.
Thank you.
Are there any more delegates wishing to ask points of clarification? Yes, delegate of BGC.
And Operator Clause 3, could the delegate please explain the terminology member states?
So there are going to be member countries of this accord that will cooperate in making the Korean market a better place. Since chicken is most prominent in the Korean market, other markets will not be affected by the accord directly, but will cooperate with Korea in order to make the world a better place.
Are there any delegates wishing to ask points of clarification? Seeing none, delegate of BBQ.
This delegation would like to also ask for the Korea Chicken Association, which is mentioned in Operator Clause 5.
The Korea Chicken Association was started in 1981 in order to cooperate all of the chicken brands, but have failed since only 5 chicken brands have been incorporated into the little resolution that they have made. It was started by 5 of the most well-known chicken people in the world, including Colonel Sanders, and it has failed and has faded into obscurity, but we will try to revive it with this resolution.
Thank you.
The chair will now give delegate 5 minutes of authorship speech. You may now begin with your speech.
Being a small chicken corporation, there has been many problems that we have faced. We have not been able to grow as significantly as BBQ, KFC, or BHC since the limitations on advertising budgets and the actual people that we use for advertisements are actually just not going to come to us because of the lack of money and the trust that we have in the brand. And we, as a group of small chicken brands, we have stated that we will not stand down. This delegate and other delegates of chicken brands will fight against the big corporations in order to have our place in the Korean market. In order to do this, we will have to close off any further chicken brands from appearing, since small chicken brands that already exist aren't even in a safe place. So until we get those small chicken brands into a safe level of economic state, we will not be allowing any other chicken brands to appear. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. You have 3 minutes left. How would you like to yield your remaining time?
Any and all POI.
Okay. Any dear delegate who wish to ask for the information? Yeah, delegate LBQ.
This delegation would like to ask for the term the highest level, which is mentioned in Operator Clause 3. This delegation believes that the term the highest level is too vague, and therefore ask for the clarity to elaborate the term.
Yes, in the International Chicken Rulebook, there are 3 stages of the chicken hierarchy. There are the customers, there are the staff, and they are the highest authority. The customers are the people that eat the chicken, the staff are the people that sell and make the chicken, and the highest are the CEOs and the CFOs of the brands. I think this terminology is not vague, and the delegation was mistaken since the delegation did not read the International Chicken Rule Book. Thank you.
Are there any delegates who delegate BHC?
So is the delegate basically saying that in Operator Clause 3 that other states have to use their valuable time and give extra attention to solve the problem of chicken markets at Korea?
Many UN conferences have dealt with the situation of terrorism on national sites, and that has never got any criticism because national sites are deemed as important to the world. And this delegation apparently disagrees with the fact that chicken is one of the best inventions in the world, only next to sliced bread. And this delegation is sorry to remind the delegate that most of the world agrees that chicken is one of the is the pinnacle of human inventions. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Are there any delegates wishing to ask points of information? Yes, delegate BBQ.
In the Operative Clause 1, the delegation has stated that decides to limit the creation of further chicken corporations to stop the crowding of the Korean market. And this delegation believes that this statement is supposed to indicate the fact that the government or whatsoever organization will restrict the rights for any chicken, people wishing to make new chicken corporation. And therefore, this delegation would like to ask the delegation, sorry from the opinion regarding this point of view.
This delegation have come to a conclusion that there are enough small companies for anyone to try and starting a chicken company. There are companies that follow their idea. They may go into those companies, and the government will be enforcing this in order to stop the thing called chicken inflation. Thank you.
Follow up.
That is in order.
This delegation would like to ask for, then does the delegation of Secretary agree that it is possible and it is natural for governments or organizations to restrict the rights of people who are trying to make a new chicken industries?
Yes, that is what this delegation is saying.
Thank you, delegate. Are there any delegates wishing to ask points of information? Yes, delegate BHC.
In Operative Clause 1 about limiting the creation, is the delegate actually speaking about big franchise chicken corporations or even the creation of small individual stores have to be limited to? So is the delegate also talking about limiting the creation of individual chicken corporations?
Yes, this delegation is trying to stop the chicken inflation, and this is one of the most effective and fast ways to do that. Thank you.
Follow up.
That is in order.
Then in his previous speeches, the delegate mentioned about terrorism, about people creating or trying to go into the chicken industry. So is the delegate actually ignoring all the people who are trying to establish their own chicken corporations as their future jobs and just survive in the economy?
The government will provide economics funds to small companies in order to make them more open to other people that want to make chicken industries, so they can join them instead of making a new one, and thus this will kill two birds with one stone, limiting chicken inflation and also allowing the creation of new inventive chicken. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Delegate of Second, you may go back to your seat. Since the draft resolution has been introduced, the delegates can now properly refer to the resolution by its designated number.
Now the chair duty has been yielded back to this chair. Before we open the general speakers list for this resolution, are there any points or motions?
Motion.
Yes, delegate of Babak.
Motion to proceed.
That is in order. Are there further points or motions? Seeing none, the chair will now entertain two speakers to speak against this motion. Are there any in the House? Yes, delegate of PBQ. Please approach the podium. You have 60 seconds to speak.
Thank you, Chair. This delegation believes that there's a room for more discussion regarding the draft resolution that the delegate of Sartungga has submitted, and therefore this delegation believes that the committee should be discussing more about this resolution, and thus this delegation believes that the debate should not be closed, and this delegate highly encourages the committee to vote against this motion so that the committee can further discuss about this draft resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please return to your seat. Are there further against speakers in the House? Yes, Delegate of PHC.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, this delegate appreciates all the fruitful debates that have been going on in the committee. However, this delegate, just like the delegate PBQ has said in her previous speech, this delegate also believes that it is not our time to close the debate, for we need to discuss more about whether this resolution is focusing on the agenda itself or not, and make sure that it can actually be implemented so that we can solve this equilibrium that is being introduced in the agenda. So this delegate urges the committee to vote against the motion to close the debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please return to your seat. We will now move into voting procedure on the motion to close debate. This motion requires 2/3 majority to pass, and since this is a procedural vote, abstentions are not allowed. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your placards up high. Session 1,
2.
Session 2. All those against? Session 1,
3.
Session 2. With 7 votes for, 3 votes against, this motion passes. We will directly move into voting procedure on this resolution as a whole. Again, this requires 2/3 majority to pass, and since this is a substantive voting, abstentions will be allowed. All those in favor of this resolution, please raise your placards up high. Session 1,
1.
Session 2. All those against? Session 1,
4.
Session 2. All those abstaining? Session 1,
9.
Session 2. With 3 votes for, 7 votes against, this resolution fails. The chair in duty has been yielded back to this chair. Before you reopen the speakers list, are there any points or motions? Motion. Is Delegate Opada? Motion to close debate. That is in order. Are there further points or motions? Seeing none, the chair will now entertain 2 speakers to speak against this motion. Are there any in the House? Yes, Delegate of PBQ. Please approach the podium. You have 60 seconds to speak.
This delegation has seen the committee discussing about the draft resolution submitted by Delegate of Sartungga, and this delegation believes that there should be more discussion regarding this draft resolution, as this delegation sees that there is more room for discussion. And in order to make more amendments and in order to make this resolution as a whole more feasible, this delegation believes that the committee should be discussing more about this draft resolution, and therefore highly encourages the committee to vote against this motion raised by Delegate Opada. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Please return to your seat. Are there further against speaker in the House? Seeing none, we will be moving into the voting procedure on the motion to close debate. This motion requires 2/3 majority to pass, and since this is a procedural vote, abstentions are not allowed. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your placards up high. Session 1,
3.
Section 2. All those against? Section 1,
2.
Section 2. With 8 votes for, 2 votes against, this motion passes. We will be moving into the voting procedure on the resolution. This resolution requires 2/3 majority to pass, and since this is a substantive voting, delegates are allowed to abstain. All those in favor of this resolution, please raise your placards up high. Session 1,
3.
Section 2. All those against? Session 1,
1.
Session 2. All those abstaining? Section 1?
1.
Section 2? With 8 votes for, 1 against, 1 abstaining, this resolution passes. Clapping is in order.